Over the years, I've had some difficulties with liberals uh, regarding my describing some of the people who support today's Republican Party as good people. I wrote that way on Blue Virginia even before the Trump period. I would get comments objecting to calling them good people when they support X, Y, and Z. Then most recently posted on Daily Kos a piece that about the devolution of the Republican Party, and I asked, how can good people support such a party? People didn't like my talking about them as good. How can they be good people? Look at what they're supporting. One of the ways I think about why liberals respond that way is that they see the people only in terms of their politics. Otherwise, maybe they're living in some liberal enclave and don't have a whole lot of dealings with, so that they know what kind of people are voting for this terrible Republican Party. And it's been pretty bad for a long time now. So I, however, live in the Shenandoah Valley. Have for all but 6 of the last 31 years made my home here. And so I know the people I'm talking about when I say good people are, to me, not just the voters who somehow lend their support to the Republican Party, as it's been for 20 some years, has been getting increasingly ugly. And then we've reached the age of Trump, and we've got people who are most of these good people have been voting for Trump and are maybe ready to vote for him again. But I know them not just in that capacity. I also know them as neighbors and people with whom I do business, and a general community. And I've known them. It's the people I talked with when I did talk radio out here for 10 years on the most powerful AM station in the Shenandoah Valley, to an audience that also had daily access to 3 hours of Rush Limbaugh. But I experienced in all those ways, probably most meaningfully on the radio, because we were continually talking together about the questions of meaning and value that we face. I experienced goodness in them, and I continue. Not, I'm not saying, when I say good people, I mean the kind of people in whom I experienced goodness. There was even then on the conservative side a kind of sort of the kind of people that would participate in a lynching that I could also encounter on the radio, and I did not have them in mind when I would say things like about wondering about the good people who nonetheless are supporting something which I think it's reasonable to call evil. I define evil as a coherent force that consistently works to make things worse. So I have a feeling about the goodness that I know is there. And yet at the same time, I also see that they are supporting something which really is as a political force that's acting in an extraordinary way, that is continually, consistently making the world more broken and things it says and does. And that is a huge puzzle to me, how good people can be made to support evil, and that is what I see happening. Not just good people, but so what do we mean by good people? And I haven't come to a satisfactory way of understanding some of what I see, but the goodness is there, and something else is there that enables them to support what they should recognize is the opposite of the things that they say that they value. Somehow that's happened. But I don't know. When we talk about good people, are there more people on the liberal side? Is the goodness of the people on the liberal side more complete than that of the good people out here? Sometimes I think that the conservative side and the liberal side are more or less equally composed of whole and broken elements, but that they manifest in different ways, and so that the brokenness on the liberal side is not of the same kind as the brokenness on the conservative side. I don't believe that that liberals would ever behave the way conservative America has behaved. We would never line up and march behind a figure like Donald Trump. It's just not in our, what kind of structure is it that determines our relationship to authority and our ability to think, to dissent from solidarity with the group to which we are connected. I think liberals, when they go bad in little scattered ways that make the world maybe more broken, but not in a coherent way. It's the world more broken. Maybe there's lots of little disorders in the liberal world, or maybe liberals are in some ways better put together. I don't know, but I do see in myself certainly limitations, that there are forms of human goodness that I believe in, that I can watch my wife embody more than I do. Her universal generosity of spirit toward just about everybody. I think that is a form of human goodness, and I've got a tad of it. But anyway, I also think that when liberals object to my speaking of these conservatives as good people, there's something else that is not not the wisest place to come from. I think that there's a willingness to feel antagonism, even hatred, that I don't think is the optimal way to feel it. I think it's understandable. I mean, we are all legitimately threatened by what these good people are doing with their political role, their role in our power system. Well, they are genuine threats, and often in various ways those threats get carried out. So they are part of something that is injuring us. And it's understandable to feel enraged and hostile. And those are not the ways I believe in feeling, and they're not mostly the way I feel. I feel more um, toward the people. I feel more there, but for the grace of God go I. There's, especially when I can see the goodness in them, uh, I can appreciate that something has happened to them in relation to the world that led them to abandon their goodness and to yield to a certain kind of brokenness that is also probably always been a part of them. And conservatism is associated with some important kinds of brokenness that have to do with authority, that have to do with domination, that have to do with rigidity. But there's no there's no reason why we have to feel that those people who have brokenness that's been exploited in these times and brought out um, are not also good people. Uh, we are all the fruit of this world, and if we had been born what someone else was born to be, we would have unfolded into the same thing. And so the good people, part of that is recognizing that we are all born vulnerable creatures who do our best to meet our needs given the circumstances in which we are trying to meet them, and which are forming us into the people that we will be. There, but for the grace of God go I, is, I think, a good way to hold on to goodwill, even toward the people who are supporting evil. Because something basically real and human lies at their core. Is that what's behind love thine enemies as well as thy neighbor? I don't know. But I do think that getting past rage, while not giving up the determination to fight and defeat a destructive force, is the more enlightened path. And I will continue to hold on as best I can to the understanding that there are good people out here who are our countrymen, whom we should care enough about to bring back to the better angels of their nature. Thank you.